We are officially done with CFI training, kind of. There's a small catch with that. So I am fully endorsed. I'm just currently waiting for my check ride. And that's kind of where the bottleneck is happening, which I'll get into later on in this video. But first, I want to focus on the good that is going on right now. Like I said, I'm fully endorsed, which means that I passed my check ride, the flight portion. I passed the oral portion of my mock check ride, and I got my spin training done. Now, it wasn't a straight path to get all those things done. I'll start with the spin training. Our spin plane is currently broken and has been broken for about 3 to 5 weeks. It was slightly fixed and then it was broken again. So I had to, well, a group of us had to venture out to a different ATP location down in Atlanta, which was a 4-hour drive there and a 4-hour drive back. We had to coordinate this. Thankfully, our manager at our location helped us out with this whole thing. But we drove down there bright and early in the morning. I think we woke up at like 3 a.m. or 3:30 in the morning. Drove down there. There was 5 of us. We all did our spin training really quick and then just drove back. And that was like a full day event. Just knocked it out. And yeah, it wasn't ideal, but had to check it off the list, had to get that endorsement done. And then I took my mock oral, which I did a dual mock oral, which was kind of cool. So me and another CFI student, we both started at the same time, and we kind of went back and forth going through like the FOIs, going through the like runway incursions, all the required tasks that need to be asked during the check ride itself, and just showed like our lesson plan, our slideshows. Like I said, like I use Google Slides, for example, and just show what we had, what we didn't have, things that we needed to work on. Unfortunately, I did get unsat on a lot of elements within my mock oral, so I ended up having to redo it a second time and then pass the second time, of course, because I realized like, yeah, I was missing a good amount of information on some of my lesson plans and presentations, which, to be fair, it happened within about a 10-day time. And to be able to get all of those FOIs memorized, like we're required to memorize, I think it's 64 mnemonics from the FOIs specifically that they want you to have, you know, off the dome, writing on the whiteboard, and then describing what each term means. I don't totally agree with that method because it's really just rote memorization. You're not understanding and applying and then having a full conceptual learning of that specific topic and being able to actually talk about it in depth. So I got a couple unsat on that. Like I said, the second time around, I was able to remember it and fully describe those specific terms. And then I had a couple unsat on my runway incursion presentation, which was completely my fault. I just didn't include some of the risk elements inside of my lesson plans. Was, you know, brain fog or whatever happened when I was making that lesson plan. I just completely did not include those elements. So that was on me. It was a very short retake of the mock, but got that knocked out. You know, got the check mark for satisfactory for that whole thing. And then the flight portion was a 3-hour flight. It was only my 4th time flying in the right seat for CFI. And it started with takeoff and landings. We flew out of our airport to a local airport. It was a 7 a.m. flight, so conditions were just beautiful. There was barely any wind. The sun was just coming up. There was really no clouds in the sky. Just an amazing morning for this. Like I said, started with takeoff and landings. This whole time I'm flying, I'm describing what I'm doing. Started with a soft field landing, did a full stop taxi back, then a soft field takeoff. Came back around, did a short field landing, stopped, and then a short field takeoff, and then did a power off 180, and then just did a go around after that. Flew out to our practice area. Oh, and with that power off 180, I did a forward slip to land. All of them were exactly where I wanted to land on 1,000 footers. Satisfactory. I had no problems with that. I was fully aligned with my center line, wasn't side loading, wasn't doing anything wrong. I was teaching it, in my opinion, very well. And then after my debrief, I also got good feedback that I was teaching it really well, which is always good to hear. Like I said, we flew out to our practice area after that. And this whole time, you know, as I'm flying, I'm trying to fill that void of silence with just speaking about why we're flying straight and level, how I'm, you know, cross-checking my instruments while also utilizing like visual references. Always looking for like a best place to land, like just simple things that when you're a student and you're training, you're not really thinking about these things. You're kind of just halfway listening to your instructor. But as a person who's trying to be an instructor, now you're really trying to almost come up with things to talk about, so to speak, but also not just fill the space to fill the space. You want it to be effective learning. But I know in like actual real life, when I'm teaching a student, I'm not going to be overloading them with all this information in one flight, but it's really just for the training purpose of the check ride itself. So I always like remembering that I won't be talking 24/7 while flying. It's more gonna be like demonstration performance. But we get out to our practice area. I start with steep turns, then go into slow flight, power off stall, power on stall, chandelle to gain some altitude, lazy eights, a power off secondary stall, power on secondary stall, cross control stall, and elevator trim stall. After all that is done, I then do an emergency descent where we have an engine failure. I simulate an engine fire on the right, so we're banking to the left as we're descending. Complete engine failure in this simulation. So I'm talking through this, of course, going through our ABCDE acronym, best airspeed, best place to land, going through our checklist, declare an emergency, and then of course execute the maneuver. I fly to a open field, simulating I'm going to land, talking through what I'm going to be doing, getting your seatbelt and seatbelt fastened, going to pop this door open when we get closer, when I'm going to utilize flaps, how I'm going to land with a headwind, all the things you're going to talk about with your student when you're practicing this maneuver. Say I'm going to go around at a specific altitude, and then we just level out, start doing our ground reference maneuvers. Start with turns around a point, one of the easiest maneuvers, but one that I actually struggled with when starting CFI not too long ago, because I would overteach the maneuver, which would make me overfly the maneuver, so to speak. I wasn't utilizing it just being a visual reference maneuver. I was really like saying, okay, as we enter this maneuver, we have a tailwind. So our first turn will be our highest bank, which made me bank way too much, which made me get too close to the point. And my instructor's like, just fly it like a regular visual reference. It's a very simple one. Don't overteach it. And after I realized what I was doing, I simplified it and it made it easy like it should be. After that, we did S turns and then eights-on pylons, which has always kind of been a crutch ground maneuver for me. And that time I did pretty well, I believe. I think I almost was exact on my entry altitude and airspeed after the entire maneuver, and I was able to teach the maneuver through its entirety. The flight before that one, before the endorsement flight, I had like weird moments where I was focusing too much, or not focusing too much, but I was so focused on just flying the maneuver, trying to, make it perfect, that I forgot to teach in the moment, which I feel like is pretty common when you're in the beginning phases of CFI training or just being a CFI in general. You just forget to teach it. You just try to fly it really well, because let's be honest, that was only my third or fourth flight in the right seat. So I'm not like extremely comfortable with flying the maneuver from that right seat, but everything was in sat. After that, we flew back to our airport. Within that duration, I kind of described like what would happen if we flew into IMC, if my student wasn't instrument rated yet, what they would do, how they would figure out where they are, how they would communicate with ATC, how they would make sure that they're referencing their instruments and they're not going to get an illusion happening with them, how they're going to get out of it safely. So again, filling the time instead of having it be a silent flight back, just filling it with things to talk about and teach within that moment. Again, realizing I'm not going to always be doing that as a CFI, but specifically for the check ride. And then landing into our home airport, I believe it was just a normal landing because we did a normal takeoff out of it in the beginning of the flight. And it was all good. Taxi back and parked, tied it down, and passed. So right now, it's been 4.5 weeks since I've started CFI training at the training center, plus 2 weeks of our online Zoom classes. So in total, 6 weeks of CFI. The original time frame is supposed to be 2 weeks of online classes and then a week and a half of CFI training and then a check ride. So that means that there's a pretty big bottleneck of CFI candidates right now at my specific location. One, because of the spin plane being broken. So a lot of people have been there almost double the amount of time as me, which is pretty nuts to think that they've been there for about 8 weeks and been endorsed this whole time, so they haven't been able to fly. Thankfully, we get a proficiency flight within, I think it's 6 days of our check ride. If it's been longer than a 6-day period since our endorsement flight, we're allowed a proficiency flight to brush up on just flying the aircraft again, so we don't lose any proficiency. So that is good, making the best of the situation. But yeah, I think I'm 4th or 5th in line for a check ride. And unfortunately, our in-house DPE, from what I just heard, is now going to be gone for the next 2 months, just because he has a different job. So that is another factor to consider, another variable we're dealing with right now. I've considered going to other ATP locations, obviously, just having to coordinate that. Apparently the check ride delay is very common right now in our region because there's apparently a lack of DPEs. I don't know what's going on, to be honest. I'm just getting, it's just the telephone game. I'm just hearing what other people are hearing. So yeah, I don't know what I'm gonna do while I wait. Well, I know what I'm gonna do. I'm still working on my lesson plans and like slides and just practicing presenting and all that stuff. So I might do a series on this channel where I do my lesson plans. If you guys are interested in that, let me know in the comments. Not only would it be beneficial for me to practice teaching and just brushing up on my slides and tweaking them as I go and getting feedback from you guys, that'd be really nice for those of you that are either students or CFIs or people in the airlines that have done this before. I would appreciate some feedback about that stuff, but also just to make content for you guys, because I've been skipping a couple weeks here and there, mainly due to the fact that CFI training, I was expecting to already be in my CFII training because of the timeline. But yeah, I put you guys on the back burner just because I wanted to be locked in for CFI and not have the possibility of failing a check ride, which has been happening lately, unfortunately, for some people. So yeah, let me know in the comments if you guys want me to teach to you guys and make that a series. I think it'd be kind of fun and I could break it down. And if you guys wanted to, use it as a study resource or study guide, that'd be kind of cool. I could even link my slides and lesson plans in the bio below. But that's my life right now. I still go to the sim every morning at 4:30 or 5 a.m. And now I've kind of got a couple people going with me, so I'm not doing it by myself. And we're practicing teaching with each other, practicing flying, and making it more enjoyable. And then I go to the school right after that. I'm there till 5 p.m., come back home, hang out with the wife, the dog, eat some food, and then, keep studying and just maintaining this, I don't want to say high level of knowledge, but, in-depth knowledge for CFI, just in case I get the call hey, we have an opening tomorrow. Can you do the check ride? I want to be yes, of course, let's go. So I just want to always be on top of it. And yeah, that's all I got for you guys. If you made it to the end of the video, I appreciate you, and hopefully see you in the next video. It'll probably be a lesson plan one, so I look forward to it. And yeah, see you guys next week.